Good evening and welcome to the Canyon City Planning Commission for September 24th, 2025. I now call this meeting to order. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Denise, can you call roll?
Chairman Ledoux,
Here.
Vice Chair Willett, Commissioner Clark,
Here.
Commissioner Clement,
Here.
Commissioner Souther,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Maleko,
Here.
Council Rep Maloney.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting held on July 23rd, 2025. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Denise, will you call roll?
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Souther,
Aye.
Chairman Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Maleko.
Aye.
We now have a public hearing. The provisions of the Canyon City Municipal Code, and in particular Title 17 thereof, the subdivision and development regulations, and the comprehensive plan of the City of Canyon City are incorporated into the record of this hearing as if set forth verbatim. It says I'm calling on the city planner for proof of notice. Is that a thing? Or is it just a report?
It's just a report.
We will go
But
with
this
the
is a
report.
public hearing.
Let's do that.
So good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission. This evening, we are here to consider a draft ordinance which responds to a recently adopted law from the Colorado State Legislature as it pertains to electric vehicle charging stations under local land use and development regulations. This is coming before Planning Commission now because there is a time limit under the adopted law which requires action before the end of calendar year 2025. The law in question is House Bill 24-1173, and I should point out now, I was rereading through my staff report earlier today as I was preparing this presentation and realized in several places I inadvertently put SB as though it were Senate bill. So please don't confuse the two. It is House Bill, or HB 24-1173. It was signed into law by Governor Polis in May of last year. This law concerns requirements associated with electrical vehicle charging stations and applies to all counties within Colorado having more than 20,000 residents and all municipalities in Colorado having more than 10,000 residents, which means Canyon City is subject to the law based upon our population. This new law requires local governments to have this law, who are subject to this law, to comply with some specific deadlines, one of which occurs December 31st of this year. By the end of this year, Canyon City is required to do one of three options as outlined under this House bill. Option one is to adopt the permitted land use process and standards of the state-issued EV charging station model land use code. Option two is to copy and paste the language within HB 24-1173 itself as it pertains to requirements for EV charging stations. Finally, option three is the opt-out provision where Canyon City rejects minimum requirements for EV charging station and advises the state that no further compliance with HB 24-1173 will occur. Now, HB 24-1173 intends to establish local government pathways to allow EV charging stations and remove any barriers which might prevent EV charging stations from being developed. Now, Canyon City already provides a pathway for the approval of EV charging stations, the site plan or site plan amendment process. This is an administrative process as defined in section 1710 010A of the UDC. There are no prohibitions toward the installation of EV charging stations contained within the UDC at all. If someone wants to propose charging spaces as part of a site plan for a multifamily residential, commercial, or industrial project, that is entirely acceptable under the code. And installations of charging facilities for homeowners in single-family residential has no administrative oversight at all. A homeowner can simply hire an electrician to install it. Now, as a matter of fact, in 2022, Canyon City installed 4 EV charging spaces to a park and ride facility owned by the city at 403 Royal Gorge Boulevard, and part of that process included ensuring the EV spaces were handicapped accessible. Now, given these factors, in discussing this with the city attorney, the option being recommended for approval is option 3, which is the opt-out provision identified in HB 24-1173. Thus, the draft ordinance being presented this evening accomplishes 3 things. First, it amends Section 1706010 pertaining to off-street parking and loading standards. It is amended with this ordinance by adding a new paragraph K, which allows EV charging station spaces to be counted towards a parking space minimum requirement as part of any site plan or site plan amendment. Second, it requires signs to be posted at EV charging spaces to advise the public that these spaces are reserved exclusively for electric vehicles which are being recharged. And then finally, it opts out of any further EV charging space requirements otherwise provided for in HB 24-1173. Again, this is not discouraging the installation of EV charging spaces. It is simply advising the state of Colorado that Canyon City finds no need to adopt additional requirements or regulations for EV charging spaces. So with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission, following a public hearing on this request, recommend that City Council approve the draft EV charging station ordinance, opting the City of Canyon City out of any further requirements for HB 24-1173, subject to the 3 changes that it will impose in Title 17. And that would conclude the staff presentation. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions that Planning Commission may have.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mulready?
Question. So Patrick, I was just, as I was reading on this, just wanted to make sure I was clear. So you mentioned in your report that we already have these charging stations on Main Street, 403?
No, it's 403 Royal Gorge Boulevard, right across from the Travel Plaza or the Travel Center,
Okay.
the Exxon gas station.
Okay. And so people who are coming to our community that don't live here, if they needed to use a charging station, they'd be able to go there?
They can certainly go there, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions? I have a few. I guess say multifamily unit, they have a retrofit option. Is that the site plan amendment?
That would be a site plan amendment. If there is an existing multifamily development and they want to go and install them, they can always apply for a site plan amendment. It's an administrative process, provided that they're not doing anything to take their total count of parking spaces below what the minimum is. I don't think we'd have any reason to deny it.
Okay. And what is the typical cost and time frame for an amendment?
A site plan amendment is charged at the same rate as a site plan, which is $350. It follows the same process where upon initial submittal, it's reviewed by staff and referral agencies for a 15 working day or 3-week period of time. We get comments back to them if there's anything that they need to address, which they take their time, they revise and resubmit. Second submittal and any subsequent submittal is 10 working days or 2 weeks. Normally, site plans, I've seen them go in as fast as 60 days. I've seen some of them take almost up to 6 months, and that's usually dependent upon how quickly an applicant revises and resubmits.
Okay. And then the proposed ordinance, K, item 1, says electric vehicle parking spaces shall be incorporated into the same lot. Should that be, I guess, electric vehicle parking spaces may be incorporated into the same lot, just to limit confusion?
I think with any given site plan, you're going to have a minimum parking requirement. Walmart, for instance. Now, they are well over what their minimum is. But I think we want the electric vehicle charging spaces that they're installing to be on their same lot,
Okay.
if they're going to install them.
If they're going to install them, right? Okay. Any other questions?
Commercial charging stations, how many in town do we have?
So we have 4 in that parking lot, that park and ride lot. There are a few at the community college right over here.
Okay.
I am unaware of any others citywide.
Well, they have one at the Ford lot, I know that.
Okay, so that would have been installed as part of the new Ford dealership when they built that.
Well, they actually just put it in not too long ago. It's been since they built the place.
Okay.
I didn't know if there were, I hadn't been to the college, I didn't know if there were any others.
None that I am aware of.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone from the public that would, seeing none, we will skip that. All right, I will now close the public hearing. Call for a motion and a second on the findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. I move that the Planning Commission recommend the City Council adopt the attached draft ordinance opting out of the EV charging station requirement contained in HB 24-1173 and setting standards for EV charging spaces in Section 17.06.010 of the Canyon City Unified Development Code.
There's been a motion and is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Any discussions on the motion or second? Seeing none, will you call roll? Denise?
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Chairman Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Souther,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Malenko.
Aye.
That motion actually covered everything, right? There's no. Okay. Excellent. The next planning commission is scheduled for October 22nd. Are there any other?
Just one. Planning Commission may like to know that we have selected a consultant who will be helping us with the master planning for the Western Gateway Park, as well as the office reuse for the old Parks offices at Centennial. The name of that firm is Port Urbanism and Architecture. They were ultimately, when we went through the process, unanimously the choice. When it came down to the last two and the answers that we got to some follow-up questions, they clearly stood out from their competitor. They have some local subcontractors and consultants, including Icon Engineering, as represented by a member of the Planning Commission, by the way. But I want to make sure you understand, the group that chose Port Urbanism and Architecture was a committee made up of 2 council members, 2 Planning Commission members, and 5 members of staff, including myself, and it was a unanimous decision to select Port. The fact that we have a Planning Commission member as one of the sub-consultants was not a factor in that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So,
And this is going to be an excellent project, and it will go on for the better part of a year, and we should be kicking off with it next month.
okay. Any other questions, comments, announcements? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.